Hello and welcome to my Virtuosity vlog. I'm Corey, co-founder of Virtuosity, and I want to bring you with me throughout the week to show you how I use Virtuosity on a day-to-day basis. I was laughing as I was looking back at these clips from the week because I noticed that I unintentionally wore sweaters every single day this week. That's all thanks to our very chilly January in the UK, and I do hope that you are staying warm wherever you are. So before I get started, I want to provide an overview of how I do approach the week. I typically log into Virtuosity twice each day. The first thing I do in the morning is I look at my daily exercise prompt so that I can think about this prompt throughout my entire day. And then I look at my daily reflection before I go to bed. I use something called habit stacking to make sure that I can remember to do these habits. And so what this means is when we're trying to create a new habit, you can create or attach your new habit to an existing habit that you already do. So for example, I love coffee and I'm never gonna go a morning without having my morning coffee. So what I've chosen to do is I attach my morning logging into Virtuosity to look at my daily exercise to when I'm having my morning coffee. And then I attach my daily reflection at night as I'm getting into bed. And so obviously this week I'm recording, so I'm not going to do this in bed, but as I start to get ready for bed, I remember to do my daily reflection. So for this week, you can see on the screen here that I am focusing on being compassionate. And you can also see at the top of the screen that I'm at level 1, which is the discover stage. And so what this means is this is the first time I'm focusing on being compassionate in the Virtuosity app. So I start at the level 1 discover stage. And so we have these stages planned out. We have a full video on the different stages for Virtuosity. But what's really important to share here is that when we start developing our character, it's just important to begin with discovering what that character behavior actually looks like and understanding what it looks like in yourself versus other people. Because how we express character behaviors is different from person to person. What this means is that my daily exercises are going to be guiding me through discovering what compassionate behavior looks like in myself and in other people. And then also discovering what the deficient vices and the excess vices of being compassionate look like in myself and other people. I hope this video provides some insight on how you can use Virtuosity on a day-to-day basis. How we choose to engage with this will all be different. And so I'd love to hear how you use Virtuosity on a day-to-day basis. So please do share it in the comments. Hello and welcome to my Monday. I'm going to take you through what I typically do on my Monday. So you can see here that I am focusing on compassionate, which is level 1 discover stage. If I scroll down to my items here, you can see that I have several items lined up for Monday, but what I do is I leave the last 3 items until Sunday. So that's my weekly assessment, thinking about my entire week. And then my partner assessment for Mary Crossan, I leave that until Sunday as well. And then I choose my focus behavior on Sunday so that I can really think about how my weeks went and think about what I want to focus on next. So today, I always focus on the lesson at first so that I can prime and think about the behavior differently. So let's take a look at what that looks like. For level 1, I'm not going to go into this in too much depth. I'm just going to fly through it. But for the level 1, it gives you an idea of what the character wheel looks like in case you're new to it or need a refresher. Then it dives into the dimension associated with your focus behavior. In this case, it's humanity. And then it does a deeper dive into the focus behavior, which is compassionate, and it shows you what the virtuous state looks like and the deficient and excess vices. And then it asks you 3 questions. So let's see what this looks like. How often do you exhibit strong compassionate behavior? I would say more likely than not. And what's coming to my mind is I'm trying to describe what it looks like. I am thinking about times that I'm unlikely to show it, which is when I'm time stressed or And I typically show it or feel it more internally than showing it externally. So this insight is making me think that I need to be showing my humanity more towards other people instead of just feeling it. When I don't exhibit compassionate behavior, are you more likely to exhibit its deficient or excess vice? Deficient vice when I'm time stressed. But sometimes excess vice. When I deeply care about my family and close friends. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed with my compassion with people that are close to me. So it seems to vary across context. And then the third question, how does your compassionate behavior compare to other behaviors associated with humanity? So that would be being considerate, empathetic, forgiving, and magnanimous. And nothing jumps out significantly different to me, so I'd say about the same. So I'll save that, and then that way I can look back to it at a later time. This is a reminder in case you're new to Virtuosity. It just helps you set up or help you understand what the program looks like. And at the end of each lesson, it gives you more resources. So in this particular instance, throughout the lesson, we've really looked at what virtues and vices are. And so this is leading me to another resource in Virtuosity, which is the full Virtues and Vices Index. So I could explore that if I wanted to continue my learning. But for now, I'm going to complete the lesson. So you can see that shows up on my home screen. So the one other thing I'm going to do today is look over my daily assessment, which also includes the daily exercise. So let's go to view today's tasks. And here we go. So the theme of this week is discovering what compassionate behavior looks like and doesn't look like by observing my behaviors and the behaviors of others. And specifically, my task today is to identify 1 to 2 times when I just demonstrated the virtue compassionate. This is really helping me because I'm in the discover stage. This is the first time I'm looking at the compassionate behavior. It's helping me really understand what it looks like for me to demonstrate compassionate behavior, hence the discover title. So when I think about 1 to 2 times when I demonstrated the virtue of compassionate, I tend to show it with my close family and friends. Close family and friends, for example. Just recently I had my parents visit me in the UK, and we really insisted that they stay with us even though we only have a small 1-bedroom apartment, and we do this with other family members as well. So I think that shows compassion. And then another time, I would say genuinely interested in understanding how people are doing when I ask them, how's your day gone? So when I ask people how they are doing. Okay, so completed. And then my performance, so this is early January. I'm just getting back after holiday, and I will say I didn't feel like my performance was perfect or near perfect. I do feel a little strained from the holidays, so I might put a 2. And then my interactions were okay, actually, but not fantastic, so I might put a 2 or a 3. I'll do a 2, lots of room for improvement. And then my mood, I would say interested. I typically feel like I am alert, attentive, excited, enthusiastic, but I don't feel like I can check those off, because just feeling a little foggy after the holidays. So I did feel determined. I did feel strong. I worked out today, active. And then I did feel a little distressed coming back to work after a few weeks, I have to admit. Felt a little guilty with indulging over the holidays, and a little nervous coming back. We have a full week this week, so a little nervous. It's good to recognize these things, but I'm not going to dwell over the negative moods that I've listed, and that I could have more positives, because it's just one day, and so it gives me a good idea of how I can move forward and get better the next day. So maybe recovering from the holidays. Submit. Okay, so that's my Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello and welcome to Tuesday. I'm going to be doing my daily reflection today. And what I noticed throughout today is that I started reflecting more based on my reflection that I did last night. So I wanted to show you what I was thinking. Yesterday, I was listing what compassionate behavior looks like for me, and I listed 2 examples, one of which was inviting my family to stay in a small 1-bedroom apartment with me, and then the second one was genuinely asking people or genuinely trying to understand how people are when I ask them how they're doing. And I was thinking about the higher order themes behind those. And the first one, I find myself doing a lot of acts of service to show my compassion towards other people. And the second one is really trying to connect with other people. So I thought those were nice developed reflections that had happened since last night. And I just wanted to share those with you before I do my reflection for today. So back for today, my exercise that I looked at in the morning so that I could think about it all day was identifying 1 to 2 people who consistently demonstrate the virtue of being compassionate. So the first person that comes to my mind is my mom, and who is also my business partner in Virtuosity. And she does this by often asking how she can support me. What can she do? Instead of guessing or just trying to do it, she actively or explicitly asks me what she can do, and I find it really helpful. So asking how she can support me. And then another example was recently I'm engaged, and over the holidays I went wedding dress shopping, and 2 of my bridesmaids and my cousins came from quite a far away just for the day to go wedding dress shopping with me, and were super excited to do it. And I think that this just goes to show how they typically are in terms of supporting me and often putting others first and doing it with such positivity, and it goes a really long way. So those are 2 other people that came to mind. Okay. So that's my exercise done for today. And then the outcomes. So these are the benefits that from our research, we should see shifting as I continue to focus on my character development. And so my performance is definitely feeling better than yesterday. Yesterday I was feeling a little rusty getting back into it after the holidays. So I'm going to put a 3. I think my interactions were quite good today as well. So I'm going to put a 3. And then mood. Interested, alert, more alert today, more attentive, excited and enthusiastic, close but not quite. I do feel inspired, determined, and active today. Still feeling a little distressed about how busy the week is. Still a little guilty from the holidays, and not so much nervous anymore. So feeling like I am getting into the swing of things. All right. So that's my Tuesday done. Again, I'm leaving these 3 things until Sunday, so that's all I had to do. That's it for Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, on to Wednesday. I'm going to be doing my daily reflection tonight. So let's open this up. And again, I did look at my exercise in the morning so that I'd be thinking about it all day. And today my exercise was to identify 1 to 2 times that called for me to exhibit the virtue compassionate, but instead I exhibited the deficient vice of uncaring. So the last 2 days I was learning about what the virtue of compassion looked like in myself and other people, and now it's bringing me to think about the deficient vice of compassion. So uncaring, I was thinking about this today, and typically I'm uncaring. I can think of 3 themes, so to speak. The first one is when I'm burnt out or overextended myself. The second one would be time stressed. And the third one, I was thinking complacency with people I am closest to. You know, you sort of get into a routine, and it's funny, yesterday or 2 days ago I was talking about how I'm very compassionate with people that are closest to me, but I think the flip side can also be true for a lot of us, at least for me as well, that we can also lack compassion and be uncaring when we get into a routine and get comfortable with people around us. So I've got to watch out for that. Okay, performance. Pretty good. I think there's always still room to improve, so I'm going to put myself at a 3, which I'm pretty happy with. Interactions, 3. And then mood, interested. I would say, I was thinking about this with being excited and enthusiastic today. Sometimes my enthusiasm and excitement can sometimes be a little confused with being nervous or distressed, and so it's sometimes important for me to parse out, like, is it really kind of on the more negative or the positive side? So going back up to the top, definitely alert, attentive, excited today, inspired, lots of good stuff going on, proud, determined, active, still a little distressed. So that's what I'm talking about, like, you know, very high emotions. So is it distress or excitement? I think a little of distress in there. Still feeling a little guilty, I would say, from, like, you know, getting back into good eating and exercise habits. It's still not quite there from getting over the holidays. So still feeling a little guilty and still a little nervous. So I am going to continue to unpack the difference between my distress and nervousness versus the excitement and attentiveness. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on for the next little while. Okay. All right, Wednesday done. See you tomorrow. Welcome to Thursday. I'm going to be doing my daily reflection today. And so we can see here that my exercise was to identify 1 to 2 times that called for someone you know or I know to exhibit the virtue compassionate, but instead exhibited the deficient vice uncaring. So again, I did look at this in the morning, so I'd be thinking about it throughout the day. And let's go fill this out. So yesterday, if you remember, I was thinking about what uncaring behavior looked like for me, and now I'm thinking about what it looks like in other people. Yesterday, I listed 3 things. I talked about overextending myself. I think I also talked about feeling time stressed, and I also talked about complacency. Those are the 3 themes that lead me to be uncaring that I need to look out for. And I think those quite apply to other people as well. Yeah, so being overextended, stressed, and 3, complacency. And this is good just to note that when other people are uncaring around me, to try and think about whether some of these themes relate to them, because they certainly relate to me, and it just helps me understand where they're coming from. It doesn't necessarily excuse the behavior, but it does help me identify and understand what's going on. Okay, performance. So I feel like I'm definitely on an upwards trajectory from Monday. So I'm going to go all the way to the 4. I was really pleased with my interactions today as well. And mood, just a lot of exciting things going on. And I was paying attention to the difference between the positive excitement versus perhaps distress and anxiousness. And I really felt like I was getting into that positive area. I don't know if it was a reframing of my mind that got me from the negative to the positive, but I really did feel like it was more of those positive excitement emotions or moods today. So I'm going to check off interested, alert, attentive, excited, enthusiastic, inspired, proud, determined. I did big workout today, so a lot of really positive moods. Still actually a little bit distressed. We have a lot going on, so a little bit distressed. Not so much guilty anymore, and a little bit nervous with all I have in the next few days, but nothing too overwhelming. So I'm going to submit that. And that is Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Surprise! It's Saturday. I did miss my Friday daily reflection yesterday. I had a really full but amazing day. I did think about it when I was going to bed, and I probably would have done it, but with the extra recording I'm doing, I just decided to leave it till today, which is fine, and you'll definitely find yourself doing that. You do have the opportunity to be able to go back and reflect on previous days. So you do that by clicking on the programs page, and you can see today is January 13th for me, but I can do January 12th. So let's go ahead and do that. My exercise for yesterday was to identify 1 to 2 times that called for me to exhibit the virtue compassionate, but instead I exhibited the excess vice of being overly concerned. And I can think of specific examples. The overarching theme, though, here is that I tend to do this when I give maybe too much feedback, and I keep doing it for a prolonged time. So it's knowing when to ease off and let people kind of do their thing. Performance. We delivered a really fun and amazing session with some undergrad students at the med students at Oxford, and it was really inspiring, and I think we all did a really good job together. So my performance is a 4, my interactions a 4, and mood, a lot of positives here. Inspired, proud, determined, active, a little distressed preparing for it, and a little nervous, but the positives definitely outweighed the negatives. So refresh that. We can see that my Friday's done. It does show up in an orangey color to show that yes, I did them, but they were a little bit late. So you can see the difference. Let's do January 13th. So today I am supposed to identify 1 to 2 times that called for someone I know to exhibit the virtue compassionate, but instead exhibited the excess vice of being overly concerned. When I see this most often, and I was thinking around the theme for me, is the giving too much feedback or just not knowing when to let other people do their thing. And coming from a sport background and coaching, we see this a lot in helicopter parents. So that's what comes to mind when people get into that excess vice state of compassionate. And then performance today, I did another session with another group of students, and I think, again, we did really well. Always room for improvement, but I thought I prepared well and delivered well, so I'm very proud. Interactions 4, and mood. Again, a lot of really positive moods. Inspired, proud, determined. Actually, I took a rest day today. Not feeling as strong and active today, but that's okay. A little distressed, not nervous. So, yeah. Submit that. And we can see that Saturday is done. So one more big reflection day tomorrow, and that will close out our week. See you tomorrow. Hello and welcome to Sunday. We've made it to the end of the week. I've got a little bit more to do than the rest of the days, but we will work through it together here. So I will start with my daily reflection. Same thing as usual. The exercise is asking me to pull together all the exercises we did for the last 6 days and observe the virtues and vices of compassion all together. So I was thinking about this all day. The example of compassion that I can think about is my partner and I went to a cafe today we were using up a gift card from his mom. And I think that gift was just really thoughtful. We really love going to this cafe. So that showed a lot of compassion. Let's see, what else? For me, I am providing some of my time to help my partner with a project of his own. So let's see, providing some time. And then in terms of vices, I found myself diving into work quickly this morning. I was really excited to get on to some things, and perhaps I wasn't connecting enough with my partner when we woke up. So that representing the deficient vice of being uncaring. And those are the 3 things that stuck out to me. I didn't necessarily see too many excess vices today. Wasn't up to much today. I had a nice restful day, but I was looking out for them. So I think that's a pretty good approach to the exercise. So I'll mark that as completed. Performance, again, a bit of a lazier day after a hectic week, but I performed okay on what were my goals for the day. And so I will put a 3. Interactions, 3. And then mood. Interested, alert, attentive, inspired, proud, determined. Had a nice workout today. I usually check those off when I've worked out. And not feeling too distressed or nervous like I was the last 6 days. Okay. So my daily exercise and daily reflections are all done. Now these are the 3 that I've been leaving until the end. So let's take a view at this weekly self-assessment. And the reason why we have this at the end of the week is that these are important things for us to be thinking about, but that they may not be changing on a day-to-day basis as much as our performance, mood, interactions, that kind of thing. So we leave these until the end of the week so that you're reflecting on them continually and consistently, but on a weekly basis. So how likely was I to exhibit being compassionate this week? I would say coming off of the holidays, I had felt quite burnt out. And for me, that makes it difficult to be compassionate, to, extend beyond myself and be thinking about others. So when I think about, was I actively supporting the well-being of other people? I don't think I did a fabulous job at that. So I'm going to put a 6 to give me lots of room to grow. So in terms of vices, if I'm not compassionate, I think I was more likely to be careless than overly concerned. So this comes from feeling overextended. Then these are the systems. So these are your internal and external systems that influence your ability to develop character. So my attitude, what's my attitude towards being compassionate? I would say close to a 5, but sometimes I do worry, if I'm being really truthful with myself, that sometimes I worry about what being compassionate in a situation may produce. That's where my vulnerability really needs to come in. But if I am being honest with myself, I think it would be a 4. Peer influence is really strong. I'm really lucky to be in the field I'm in with character, where people around me really do privilege and prioritize being compassionate. So that's a 5. And same thing with culture, the normative behaviors around me. So I know that that's quite unique, but yes, I am very lucky on this one. Lifestyle. So what are my lifestyle habits that are going on around me to support my compassion? I do think that I create quite a busy and tight schedule for myself, and as I've shared in previous days, when I'm feeling stressed or overextended, that compromises my compassion. So I would say it's almost in the negatives. I think that how busy I pack my lifestyle, it's probably compromising my compassion. So this is a really big area that I need to work on. And then ability, I really do believe that we can develop and cultivate all of these behaviors. So that's a 5. Which character behaviors do I need to activate to support my compassion? I would say definitely my temperance. Taking time for myself and slowing down, and my integrity. So doing what I know I need to do to take care of myself, prioritize my values so that I can then be available to help other people. Core beliefs, so self-worth. Again, coming off of the holidays, this is a big theme throughout the week. I would say okay, but not great. Relationship with others. It was nice to come back, and we had a great conference at the beginning of the week, so feeling really well connected. And view of the world, feeling like there's a lot of opportunity and possibility, so feeling very positive about what we can do in the world. And then PABC, so these are the underlying systems that help us develop character. My physiology, again, coming off of the holidays, it was really low, the lowest it's probably been in a while. I did really well this week, but just because I did well this week doesn't mean that I feel like I'm exactly where I want to be. I'd say between a 1 and a 2. I'm going to do a 1 just so I have some room to improve. My affect, I would say a 2 or a 3, maybe a 2 because my physiology wasn't great. Behavior, I think a 3. And my cognition was still pretty sharp, so I will give that a 4. And that's it. So that's my weekly assessment done. Now for your partner assessment, I'm not going to go through this for my partner confidentiality, but I will show you what it looks like. And essentially it mirrors all of the question prompts that you answer for yourself. It has those available for your partner so that you're able to compare your responses to how your partner perceives you. So you'll see that it asks me to assess whatever focused behavior they are on. So it just so happens that Mary is in the humanity piece as well, so that's why it's green like mine, but she is focusing on being empathetic. So I'd be assessing her or reflecting on her empathetic behavior. And then you'll see a lot of similar prompts here. So I'll leave that for now. I'll do that after. And then the last thing for me is to choose my focus behavior. I would likely, based on how things went this week, You did notice in my weekly reflection that I ticked off integrity and temperance are really important for me to support my humanity, and especially I think to get back on track after the holidays. So I'd probably go to one of the behaviors in there. But for the sake of this recording, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us to compassionate level 2, and then level 3, level 4, level 5, so that you can continue to see how these exercises and lessons grow. So I'm going to go ahead and select compassionate for next week. And you can see it's going up a stage. We're on discover. Now we're going to be going to the second stage, which is activate. So we can refresh that. The only thing I have left to do is my partner assessment. I did want to show you one other little piece, which was the library. I was commuting to work some days this week on the train, and I found myself exploring some of the humanity resources in the library, and I thought this one was particularly great in terms of its relation to my focus on being compassionate. And I just wanted to show you that you can explore these resources beyond your customized program. And so this one is on the science of generosity. It's by the John Templeton Foundation. We provide a little background or abstract on what the resource is, and then you can click on the link and read the full resource. So this one was really great. If you're using the app, I highly encourage to check this one out. Lots of stuff to explore on the science of generosity. Well, that wraps up our week. I am going to tune in one more time tomorrow morning, that's Monday morning, to show you what a weekly insights report looks like. And this is where it takes all of the data that I've put in over the week and it provides me with insights so that I'm not just inputting reflections into the app, but that I could extract really key insights to help launch me forward and engage my character development more deeply. So I'll see you one more time tomorrow morning. Good morning, it's Monday, and I'm going to show you what the weekly insights report looks like. So I'm in here, I've started my new week, but to look at my weekly insights report, I click on the insights, I go to the insights report, and then I have this beautiful report that helps me pull insights from my last week that I may not have seen in my daily reflections. So you can see here, that's what my week looked like. And here's my report. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we have a full other how-to video pulling apart what you can use this for and how to use it. So for the sake of this video, how I would look at this is first I compare my previous week to my current week. You can see my engagement was lower last week, and overall, I see a lot of green, meaning that I improved quite a bit, and this is no surprise. If you remember where I started off on the Monday, I was just coming off of holidays, and I was quite, I would say, struggling with, how I was operating, and so I don't think it's any surprise to me that I'm seeing a lot of green here. The other areas that I'd pull my attention to are these little boxes. So you can see it for my compassionate, the 6 versus the 9. These boxes indicate a large difference between how my partner perceives me and how I perceive myself. So my partner is perceiving me to be a 9 out of 10 on compassion, whereas I was perceiving myself to be a 6 out of 10. And this is really encouraging for me because while I was quite hard on myself and I felt like I had been overextended, it's good to know that I am still showing quite a bit of compassion. The next 2 boxes that I would look at would be the physiology, and I rated myself on a 1. My partner rated myself on a 4, and this could be perhaps that they're not seeing me day to day, and this would be an opportunity that I would bring up to my partner and talk about why I would have listed myself as a 1. It can also be expectations for each individual. So for me, I really prioritize my exercise, health, and nutrition coming from an exercise science background. So I do tend to assess myself quite harshly on my physiology. The other one I would look at is mood. So I actually rated myself higher, a 6. I gave myself a 6, whereas my partner only gave me a 3. So I'd be interested to look at what moods my partner actually listed for me. So I can do this by clicking on the partner tab, clicking on my partner, and it actually gives me a live log of what they submitted in detail. So I can scroll down and see that the moods that my partner listed for me were being interested, alert, attentive, determined, and distressed. And so what I can see from this is that they really just listed less positive moods than what I was listing for myself, whereas distressed is on par with what I was listing for myself. And I had also listed a few other negative moods, so there's nothing too alarming here. And maybe I could do more to explicitly share my positivity with others if it wasn't as noticeable to my partner. One last thing actually that I want to draw attention to is the vices row. So I saw myself, if I wasn't exhibiting compassion, I was more likely to be uncaring, the deficient vice, whereas my partner saw me to be the excess vice, which is overly concerned. And that's a pretty big difference. That's something that I would definitely be following up with my partner. And usually we have Monday morning chats going through any discrepancies. So again, this is a really good point to extract some insights and bring what is in the app into partner conversations, into your everyday life. One other thing I'm not really going to spend too much time on is just this group average piece, and that's always a good one to look to just to see how your group is doing if you're doing Virtuosity as part of a group. All right, so that's my weekly insights, and that wraps us up for the entire week. Thanks so much for joining along, and I really do hope that this helped you see how you could use Virtuosity on a day-to-day basis. Thanks for joining me for my Virtuosity vlog.